Hey there! Good to see you! It's been a while. Hi, it's Valerie of Valerie's here again, here to make another bookish video for you guys. My last video was in June. I've been busy. I saw Pretty Woman for the first time. I got a tattoo. I went to Halifax, which was wonderful. I went with a friend of mine, visited some graveyards, which is a thing I've just been doing casually. And since I've been gone, I've been kind of roped into caring about people's zodiac signs. I'm not saying I believe in all that stuff, but I definitely care about it a lot more than I did prior. And especially now on Instagram and everywhere else on the internet, there's just zodiac memes everywhere. I am not necessarily a believer or a non-believer. I just think astrology is a cool tool for processing why certain people do certain things. Like, oh, why isn't this boy texting me back? Oh, he's a Virgo? That explains it. So that's why I'm making this video. Here are all the signs as books. These aren't necessarily recommendations for people who fall under these signs. I am just using characteristics and traits and sort of stereotypes and showing you a book that I feel kind of encompasses that. And I'm gonna start off with the first sign in the zodiac, which is Aries. Now, Aries, being the first sign in the zodiac, is driven, natural-born leaders. They like to get stuff done, very much goal-oriented people, and they're also some of the most energetic and extra people that I know. So, for my pick for Aries, I chose Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I chose this because the way that the book is laid out is a little experimental and over the top. It follows 6 different storylines, and it starts off going 1 to 6, and then it works backwards 6 down to 1. So the first storyline that's in here is actually the storyline that gets wrapped up last in the book. I think that ties into how Aries have a lot of different goals and drives in their lives, and they may start a lot of different projects but not always necessarily finish them. So a lot of different storylines are in here, and they all have very different genres and stories within them, and I think that's just sort of what an Aries is all about. They're just a little over the top, doing a lot of different things, but you love them for it. Next up is Taurus. When I think of Tauruses, I think of homebodies. They are very stable and practical, and you could also say that they are stubborn, which, you know, stubborn can be stable and, you know, loyal. So don't always take negative traits super negatively. There's always a positive other side to any trait. But their stubbornness and stability definitely make them people who like to stay at home or in one place. So for that, I chose a newer release. I chose My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh, which is about a woman who tries to take as many drugs as she can so she can sleep for an entire year. And if that's not what a Taurus is all about, I don't know what is. I don't necessarily think a Taurus would especially enjoy this book. Tauruses are more of the type to reread like all the Harry Potter books during Christmas time, or reread Pride and Prejudice at the same time every year. They're very much those sorts of cozy read people, but definitely staying at home and sleeping for an entire year is big Taurus energy. Oh, next up is Gemini, the twins. Now, Gemini typically have a dual nature to them. Some could say that they are indecisive and two-faced, but I just like to say they're, you know, they've got variety to their personalities. And they're also known for being adaptable and quick learners, which is why I chose Homegoing by Ya Jessie. This definitely explores the twins in a way, because it is about 2 sisters and their descendants of their family tree. So one sister is raised in Africa while the other is sold into the slave trade, and it follows their descendants up to modern day. So each chapter flips to a new character further and further down the bloodline, which ties into that quick learning, adaptable nature, and switching between those family bloodlines also exemplifies that dual nature of the Gemini. I love Geminis. Both my brother and my mum are Geminis, so I can't say anything bad about them, and don't you dare say anything bad about Geminis either, because It's not nice. Next up is Cancer. When I think of Cancers, I think of very emotional, loyal, dreamlike people, but they can also be very much insecure. And when I think of Cancers, I just think of criers. They are just so in their feelings constantly, and you love them for it, but also it's like, girl, it's fine, you don't have to cry. And they don't always necessarily cry because they're sad, they just have a lot of feelings. And I think that's great. I love you, Cancers. They're a fellow water sign. I feel you, I'm emotional too, but like, wow. And so for Cancer, I chose By Grand Central Station, I Sat Down and Wept by Elizabeth Smart. It has the word wept in the title. I just had to choose it because this is an emotionally charged, crazy book. It is actually written in like poetic prose, which I think a creative, dreamlike Cancer would really like. It's about a woman who's committed adultery with a married man, and it is just bonkers from start to finish. It is just electrifying. And definitely this made me feel so many emotions. I didn't cry from this, but I'm sure a Cancer would. Next up, we have Leo, the lion, which are known for being brave, passionate, confident, proud, and arrogant. But once again, you know, being proud, confident, arrogant, they're all just different ways of describing people. And of course, I'm sorry, I don't know too many Leos, so I have to go with Pride and Prejudice. I wish I had a more unique pick for you, but it's literally called Pride and Prejudice, and you guys are like the most proud people there are, and that can always be, you know, misconstrued. A lot of misunderstandings in this book. Sorry, Leos, you're getting a really cliched pick, but I mean, it's a good book, so you can be proud that this is the book for your sign. Next up are Virgos. Virgos are very work-oriented, detail-oriented, meticulous people, and they are wonderful people to talk to once you get a hold of them. But if they decide that they are not in the mood to talk, they're feeling a little shy, a little anxious, a little withdrawn, they will just shut up within themselves, and you can't penetrate them. And as a Scorpio, someone who loves to like talk and get to the nitty-gritty of things, it drives me crazy. And I love you, Virgos, but like, you hurt me sometimes. And that's why I chose The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro, which is about a butler who is extremely convicted and dedicated to his job and to his master, so much so that he lets major events in his life pass him by. There are times in his life when he could have stopped work and paid attention to those around him and spoken truthfully about his feelings, but his convictions stopped him from doing that, and he finds himself later in life regretting that. Sorry, Virgo, this one is a bit of a harsh reminder to open up to people, stop working so hard, just live life, or else you're gonna be an old butler and you're gonna be really sad that you didn't smooch the cute girl that you worked with. So sorry. Next up is Libra. Libra I think of as social, fun, excitable people. They are also very much about justice and balance and bringing opposites together. They don't like conflict. They are the peacemakers, and that is why I chose Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson. This is about an old, dowdy governess who accidentally shows up to work at a lounge singer's house, and this lounge singer is the complete opposite of her, but they take to each other immediately and just have a great day out on the town, and it's a fun, social, beautiful balance of just loveliness. And I just think Libra's sort of free nature is the spirit of this book. Next up is my sign, possibly one of the most hated signs in the Zodiac. It's Scorpio. I enjoy being a Scorpio. I don't always necessarily agree with how they are portrayed or their traits, but that's fine. Not everyone totally feels like they are represented by the stars, but I would die for a Scorpio. I would die defending Scorpios. I have a decent amount of Scorpios in my life and I love every single one of them. They are interesting, wonderful, complex people, and they're people after my own little emo Scorpio heart. So for Scorpio, they are known to be somewhat aloof and mysterious and dark and morbid, and they're also known as like the sexy, sensual sign, which I can take or leave. I think it can be both a positive and a negative thing. I don't always necessarily identify as such, but I can say that I'm passionate about certain things. I'm definitely very opinionated and passionate in that way. So yeah, Scorpios are just kind of dark and scary, and not everyone likes them or understands them. And that's why I chose The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Not only is Shirley Jackson one of my favorite authors, but she writes some creepy, cool stuff, and this book is about a creepy haunted house and people brought together there to see what's going on, and no one can trust each other. The house has secrets, the people have secrets, and Scorpios are very much distrustful of people. This book involves a lot of, are they telling the truth? Are they not? Stop being so weird and telling weird little lies. I really don't like it when you do that. Just be honest with me and tell me all your secrets. And there's some interesting sort of lesbian stuff in here, which I feel like any cool, sensual Scorpio is gonna be into. So Shirley Jackson, Haunting of Hill House. Check this out if you're a dark, creepy Scorpio like me. Hi! Happy Scorpio season! Next up is Sagittarius. I don't know too many Sagittarians. I know there are a lot of good people out there, I'm sure, that fall under Sagittarius, but I've had some bad experiences with Sagittarius. So when I read that they were brutally honest people, I went, yep, I get it. They speak the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. They're also quite confident, adventurous, impatient, and since I don't know too many of them in my current life here, I can't say too much more about them. But when I read that they were impatient and confident and sort of just spoke whatever was in their mind, I had to go with The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, because Holden Caulfield does not hold back. He has opinions on everything and he will speak all of them. No matter how stupid or trivial they may be, he just has a lot to say, and I think that's the Sagittarius way. Next up is a very special sign, Capricorn. Capricorns are very hardworking, disciplined, traditional, family-oriented individuals. They can also be known to be kind of know-it-alls, which is true for some of the Capricorns that I know. My first love was a Capricorn, my sister's a Capricorn, one of my best friends is a Capricorn, I have a coworker that's a Capricorn. I have Capricorns everywhere. When people say that Scorpios are the ones that they tell their deepest, darkest secrets to, that is Capricorn for me. I don't know why. Maybe it is their sort of get it done, know-it-all nature that I just want to tell them everything and help get them to fix my problems for me, but I find myself being very drawn to speak my truth to Capricorns. And because of all that, because they are very traditional, hardworking, family-oriented individuals, I chose The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan, which is all about family and working hard and keeping family traditions. This follows the stories of mothers and daughters that have immigrated from China to the US, and it's sharing their family stories, their struggles, their hardships, but also their traditions and their love for one another, and I think it's a perfect pick for Capricorn. Next up is another sign that's a little mysterious to me. I don't know too many people that fall under this sign, and that's Aquarius. As far as I know, Aquarians are very intelligent people, and they like getting to the root of a problem or the cause of something. They're quite independent, knowledgeable, creative, progressive, intelligent. Because they are deep, intelligent, creative water carriers, I chose The Hours by Michael Cunningham. Definitely, I think The Hours ties into their need for the deeper story of something. This book explores the stories of 3 women that are all somehow somehow tied to the book Mrs. Dalloway. We have a 1950s housewife who is reading Mrs. Dalloway. We have a woman who is planning a party, just like how Mrs. Dalloway was in the book. And we also have Virginia Woolf herself as a character. And the very opening chapter of this book is Virginia Woolf drowning herself. And Virginia Woolf herself was an Aquarius, so I think that's a little spooky, but also makes a lot of sense to me, and it made sense to put this under Aquarius. Finally, we are at Pisces. Pisces are known for being dreamers. They are another fellow water sign, so they've got a lot of feelings. They're quite magnetic. They love music. They are sad. They're sad people sometimes, but they're very gentle and whimsical, but sometimes their dreams can be extremely impractical. They are definitely one to sort of fall into this sort of victim complex sort of category, which totally fine, Pisces. I love you guys. You guys are great, emotional, dreamlike people, and I wish I could be as optimistic as you are. But for Pisces, this dreamlike, sad, music-loving type of person, I chose Haruki Murakami. Specifically Kafka on the Shore, but really any Murakami book would work and they'd probably like it. Murakami is, you know, a master of magical realism. All of his books are full of whimsy and strange, dreamlike things happening, and they are often very much sad books involving music and people who are victimized, and if Haruki Murakami doesn't speak directly to a Pisces heart, I don't know which author does. So those were my 12 picks for the 12 signs. If you would like to disclose your own sign and tell me whether or not I got it right, I would love to know. Or tell me what your favorite book is. That would just be my favorite thing in the world, would just to be reading all of your comments and know what your signs are and to diagnose what sort of person you are. I hope none of you felt too personally attacked, especially Virgos and Pisces. Like, I'm sorry. I really do genuinely love you guys. Like, you're family to me. It's fine. Just as long as you're not a Sagittarius, we're cool. Bye! Have a good one!